All right, and based off that intro, you pretty much know what this video is about. Now, let me just put it this way. I think that it's unlikely that this will happen, but I would love for Maury to be on the show, or at least have the Harrington family go on the Maury show. As ridiculous as it is, I'm just saying, guys, I think it will be hilarious because of the fact that it's something that we really haven't seen the show do, stepping outside of the norm. I think that season 5 truly had the highlight of doing something completely out of the norm when Hannah and Derek went on their first date. I think to, like, first they went to the restaurant, but then they decided to go to, like, like a jazz or dance club or whatever. And Stephanie Mills showed up and did I Feel Good all over. And it wasn't like, a couple verses. It was the entire song. So I'm thinking Tyler Perry isn't shy when it comes to bringing, real celebrities, musicians and whatnot in his movies and TV shows. I could be wrong, but if I think that, what was it? Medea's Big Happy Family, the movie, wasn't Maury on that show? I think in the continuity of the movies, that was when it was confirmed that Cora's father was Mr. Brown. So I think that we know for a fact Tyler Perry does know Maury. So I would love for Maury to be on the haves and the have-nots. Now, when I say it's unlikely, these episodes are filmed like a year in advance. So we pretty much have season 6 and 7 in the books. Veronica brought up the whole scenario about whether or not David is actually Jeffrey's father in the finale of season 5. So, well, Tyler Perry does have a way of introducing storylines but not paying them off until 2 or 3 seasons later. So I don't think this is a fact, but this video is just about, stepping outside of the norm. I would love it. And I've done all the videos already about, is Derek the father? Is Jim the father? Is Catherine's father Jeffrey's father? Is Judge Gilman the father? It's just so many different scenarios. So could you imagine Jeffrey, David, Veronica on the show, and then you would have Catherine in the audience because, kind of representing her father, so to speak, and then on stage and whatnot, you would have Jim coming out, you would have Derek coming out, and you would have Judge Gilman coming out. And what would make this hilarious is not the moment of who's the father, who's not the father. It's just, it goes against everything Veronica once stood for, which was she does not like to be embarrassed. I mean, after the news broke in the papers that her and David were getting a divorce, that's when all hell broke loose when it came to the stuff she was doing to David and Jeffrey. So can you imagine being on TV and not in a, and don't get me wrong, the Maury show is more so for entertainment than anything else, but not even in like a serious courtroom or anything like that. You are on a show that makes people look like fools for the most part, depending on if it's like a special episode, of course. But yeah, well, what's the right term here? Like Jerry Springer, Maury, those are kind of like the dirty laundry shows, like the afternoon talk shows where everybody's dirty laundry is exposed and fights break out. And we know Veronica isn't shy from, throwing chairs and all that stuff. So it wouldn't be a surprise that she'll get up trying to fight somebody. And imagine if Erica was still alive. Can you imagine her being in the crowd sitting near David or whatever? That would be hilarious. So I think that Tyler Perry, I get it, guys. Look, I get it. This is a quote unquote ridiculous suggestion. It kills the flow of the show. I think what makes the haves and the have-nots better in recent episodes and seasons is the fact that they're just stepping outside of the norm. It's not afraid to be crazy when it gets crazy. It's not afraid to be serious or sarcastic with the one-liners and stuff like that. And the haves and the have-nots are different because it's not like any other Tyler Perry show where everything is related to the gospel. Everything is related to, the dark-skinned guy is evil, then the woman is saved by the light-skinned guy. It's not like that. There are so many different twists and turns because there are so many types of characters. So could you imagine those people on the Maury show, and then like back in Hannah's old neighborhood or something like that, her friends and old neighbors and whatnot would be watching Maury and just seeing these like, whoa, isn't those the Harringtons and the Criers, the ones that live on the upper parts of Savannah? So I think that would just allow for even more of an expansion the cast of characters we already have. I'm not saying like we need to introduce 50 people, but just imagine like Michael being at home with his daughter, you know, hopefully picking up the pieces after losing little Lizzie, and then seeing the folks on TV. Wait, is that Judge Jim Cryer on the TV? And see, those little things like that are hilarious. Or even the remainder of Warlock's crew. They're, you know, on their side of town, and their little probably broken down TV with the rabbit ears or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I mean, Warlock had like a little flip phone, so I don't know. Maybe that, I don't know. They have a flat screen in the crack house, mind you. Warlock and most of his top dudes are dead, but there are still people, you know, standing around. They can probably say, yeah, that's Jim Cryer, the dude that we had locked up in the basement. Then flip over to Quita's side of town, because remember, she knows of Veronica, so it's like, that whole Veronica up on TV like that, and it's like, gonna pay for what they did for my brother. Again, just little stuff like that I would find hilarious. So if Peter Parros, Angela Robinson, John Snyder, Gavin, if I'm trying to think if I can name all the characters by their actor names. Maury, I'll tag you in a tweet. Tyler Perry, of course. I mean, I would love it. And I mean, if you can help a brother out here, because, you know, I do all these videos about the show. If you can have me as an extra in the audience, I would love that, because it will be fantastic. And I remember hearing Maury on The Breakfast Club a couple months ago talking about potentially doing like a new show or something. I could be wrong, but that was a couple months ago. So honestly, that might be a good segue to tell, you know, show people that, you know, Maury's still around doing his thing. So I'm just saying, make it happen. I think it would be a hilarious comedic way of dealing with a very serious potential storyline in the haves and the have-nots. And I've said this time and time again, if you really go back to season 1, David and Jeffrey don't really interact much, if any. The only time we really see those two connect is at the finale of season 1. No More Hiding, I believe, was the episode title, and we really just saw those two really getting close when David embraced his son, while Veronica pretty much disowned him and walked out of the office. So season 2 and 3 is when we really saw those two growing closer as father and son. And I've said it even when Jeffrey was a kid, off screen, of course, because I'm talking pre-have and have-nots here. It really seemed like Veronica held the reins when it came to raising their son, while David was there, but you could just tell that Jeffrey was probably, you know, verbally and mentally abused by his mother into being the kind of person she wanted him to be. Because if you really think about it, all the times David told Jeffrey to do something, don't do what your mother said, he would go along what she would do. So pretty much you could tell Veronica did the bulk of raising their son, which may actually hint at him not being David's real son, because she took it upon herself to take most of the load when molding her son into the kind of man that she wanted to be. Honestly, I never thought of it that way. So I'm not going to lie. I think I'm about 80% sure, or 80% behind the fact that Veronica wasn't telling a lie when she told Jeffrey that you think he's your real father. So in a way, she might actually be resenting David by keeping Jeffrey all to herself, as opposed to raising him together, because there might be some guilt that she'll just mold. Because Veronica has a way of taking an obvious emotion, like, you know, the fact that she feels jealous of David when it comes to Maggie Day, but instead of truly investigating what was going on, she pretty much jumped on a hunch and pretty much decided to have an affair with Benny Young. And we know that David wasn't having an affair at the time of Benny and Veronica first getting together. So yeah, I think that it is possible that instead of the guilt and whatnot she felt from stepping out on her marriage, she pretty much just wanted to make sure that, oh, David, you're not going to do the same thing to me, and I'm not going to let you truly get close to my son, but you'll raise him anyway. Which is kind of weird, because, you know, for a woman that really wants to be like the Black Dynasty of Savannah, Georgia, she was the one that really ruined the family photo when you think about it, from stepping out on her marriage, potentially having their son with another man, covering it up. It's all kinds of things. So I could go on and on and on because this is really a good subject, and what really would drive it home, because even in the midst of comedy, Tyler Perry knows how to put the heart into it. I think it doesn't matter who the father is. At the end of the day, Jeffrey and David will still be father and son. I don't think it would matter to Jeffrey because he's at that age where he's a full-grown adult now. Yes, he does have some childlike tendencies in regards to, you know, not really speaking up for himself, and pretty much in early seasons regressing to like a 5-year-old when it comes to certain people talking down to him. But we've seen him grow a bit, and I really hope that in season 6 we don't see a regression of his character. So with that being said, folks, if you like this idea, I hope you would try to help me out by retweeting this video on Twitter, tagging like Tyler Perry and Maury and everybody in it. I might try to make a cool thumbnail for the video title where I have like Maury's like, "You are not the father," and I'll be like, you know, "You are the father," and it'll be a picture of Jim, David, you know, Jim, David, Derek, and so on. But I think it's a cool idea, and if Tyler Perry does actually see this video or agree with me, please help me. Just fly me out, or I'll take a bus or whatever. Get me down to Atlanta. I would love to be an extra in the audience on the Maury. Is it Maury Povich? I think that's the name. I'll be like, I would love to be in it. I would just, wow. Just, I don't care. Like if there's a shoe or a chair thrown, I'll duck and dodge, or I'll be that one audience member that gets hit and gets knocked out. I don't care as long as I'm on the show. But with that being said, folks, just a crazy idea that I think is funny and would actually fit into the theme of the show because it's really getting wonky. When you have president-elect going for a whore, then you can have Maury on the show. That's all I'm saying. And can you imagine the Youngs on there? No, you know what? Let me stop, because I could just go for like 40 minutes talking about different scenarios of who could be on the show and why. Hell, have a darn episode about who's Candace's real father. Okay, let me stop. Thanks so much for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, share this video around, and comment your thoughts. Like, trust me, Jerry Springer would be funny, but I truly think that in terms of the who is the father, this is the show. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.